and welcome to Cinema Express. My name is Ram Venkat Srikar. Today we have with us Shefali Shah to talk about the second season of her show, Delhi Crime. Hello, madam, sir. How are you?
Hi, Ram. I'm very well. How are you?
I'm great. Thanks for asking. So I watched the first episode. I loved it. I wanted to start with this. Do you prefer reading a script or listening to the script?
I prefer. So I'll tell you how the process goes. First is I want to hear the one line.
Okay.
And the synopsis. And if I love it, then I definitely want to meet the director. And I prefer reading the script.
Okay.
And then getting into detailed conversations with the director. I prefer reading it always.
Okay, super. So, what was your first reaction when you read the second season of Delhi Crime?
I was like, wow. I mean, a lot of work went into it. A lot of give and take, back and forth went into creating it. Of course, their basic idea and germ was absolutely correct. But small details like I know Vartika, so I would say, but this is not what she would do. This is not what she would say, or this. Why don't we try this angle, etc., etc. I thought it was deeper in terms of dwelling into the character, into all the characters. Right. It delved deeper. It's more layered.
Right.
It's a growth of the characters from DC1.
Okay.
So I thought that was very exciting. That is very, very interesting and exciting. And yes, there is a crime, but it's again making a very big social statement.
Right.
So all of it. So it was, and the fact that we were doing DC again, just the sheer fact that we were going to go back into it, and Vartika, Madam Sir, was going to be back, and just all of it was very exciting.
Super. So I was watching an interview of yours back from 2019, and you had described your acting process as when you would go to a set, there were two aspects to it. One was the technical aspect, and one was the emotional aspect. You had bifurcated it, saying the technical aspect was about the standpoint of Vartika, like how long has it been since she slept. When was the last breakthrough? So it all mattered to you where the character was standing at that point when you were shooting. And obviously the emotional aspect was much more deeper, much more, into your psyche. Has the process remained the same for second season as well? Or yes, has the familiarity helped?
So it has remained the same for second season because again, like the first one, it's a short span.
Okay.
It's a short span of 3-4 days.
Okay.
It's not a lot, 3 to 5 days, I think. I'm not being able to. So again, that whole graph of where she began, where is she reached, and a lot happens over here. In DC1, it was just about getting those criminals.
Right. Yeah.
She was just fighting against time to catch these people. With her entire team. Over here, it's very conflicted. It's not as simple as that.
Right.
So whatever evidence she gets, whatever proof she gets, she sees it. She can evaluate it. She knows the procedural protocol. But there is a gut that is saying maybe we're too early to generalize.
Okay.
Am I doing the right thing? And there is political pressure. And she's working with people who are outside her team.
Right.
Who don't, agree with her sensibility or vice versa. So it's, as far as familiarity is concerned, well, I know Vartika, but I knew her when the Nirbhaya happened.
Right.
She's become a different person.
No, yeah.
Also, the Vartika you saw in season 1, she was obsessed. The Vartika you see here, right from the first sequence when she goes to the crime scene.
Yeah.
It's not the same emergency as it was in season 1. She wants to solve the crime. Of course, it's important. It's urgent. But you realize she's been here, she's done this for the longest time now. So she has to deal with it more practically than emotionally. And then over time, how it starts getting to her, because she's fighting against all odds, trying to figure this nonsense. And she understands the disparity between the rich and the poor, the disparity between the high society and the low society, the marginalization that a certain section of our society does to other people. She knows all of it. And she can empathize with it, but it does not justify violence.
Right. Okay.
So anything, it was scary to step into her shoes. Because like I said, Ram, what happened with DC1 and Vartika was unprecedented. It was unexpected. She became larger than life. I did not expect it. How do you fit in those shoes again?
Yeah.
According to me, that's the best work I've done. And I was like, how do I do this? How can I top this? How can I ever top her?
Wow.
So, but what I love is that if DC1, Vartika was a hero, DC2, she's human. She's human.
Okay. Beautiful. I think the point that you said about having the fear of how do you top her, I think that's a great fear to have for any actor. So I was talking to Rasika Dugal and I watched the first episode, and I can sense a bit of change in the treatment of the show. I might be wrong. Please feel free to correct me. So Delhi Crime, the first season, it was a pretty humane look at the police officers, right? At the tragedy and the life of police officers. At least from the first episode, I get a sense that Delhi Crime 2, the second season, Delhi Crime 2 is probably more inclined towards the investigation or the procedural aspect of it. I'm just curious, is that right? And does the change in treatment,
So there are two different things here. There are two questions that you've technically asked. One is it differently treated? Yes, it is differently treated. It's a different crew. It's a different creator. And that's the beauty of it. That, yes, the germ of Delhi Crime doesn't ever falter or shift, but they're two faces, they're two cases, they're two different stories. So that DC1 is by itself in its individuality kick-ass, and DC2 is in itself kick-ass.
Okay.
It's unfair to compare both of them. It's really unfair. Secondly, in DC1, in fact, I thought of it the other way around. Ram? It's very interesting that you bring it up like this, because DC1 I thought was more procedural. Yes, it was driven by emotion. But it was a crime, and there was a team that came in to solve the crime. Over here, there is the team and the crime happens and they go to solve it. So over here, it's the characters that have been harnessed into.
Right. Yeah.
And they're not just driven by the same obsession of getting these guys, like it was in season 1. Over there, it was very clear, these are bad guys. Over here, that being able to pinpoint that is becoming very difficult for Vartika.
So, this is such an emotionally heavy story and role, right? The things that are happening around Vartika and these characters, they are not pleasant sights. How does these stories, does it emotionally affect you? Do you take Vartika back home?
So it's not like if I'm doing a screaming, shouting, raving, ranting, crying scene on set, it doesn't mean I carry that back home and start doing the same at home. It doesn't mean that I do not talk to my family or sit with them and have dinner and chat. But when I'm doing a project, I'm completely consumed by it. So I finish shoot, I go home, I shower, interact with my family, and then go dive straight back into the script for the next day. And I love it. I'm obsessed with it. Like, I am obsessed. And I love it. I don't want to get out of that zone. So that's the way I work, and I totally love it. But if I'm behaving in a certain way, or if I'm going through something on set, doesn't mean I can tag that back home. It's not fair.
Okay. So for the first season, you had the chance to meet the real police officers, right? Even the police officer who dealt the real case. And did you get to meet the people? I'm not sure if it's a real case, but I have read articles saying that obviously there are a few parallel crimes like this, right? So did you get to interact with these police officers to get a sense of?
I did not.
Okay.
I did not. The Kacha Banyan gang was prominently active in the 80s and 90s. This is a fictionalized version of that. Of course, there was a lot of research that went into it, because this gang actually did operate, and it caused brutality everywhere they went. Yeah. And but Vartika by now, she's become her own person.
Right.
Not anyone else. She is her own self.
The most effective part from the first episode, which is where Vartika breaks the news to the victim's daughter about the tragedy, and you do it beautifully without much dialogue. To be honest, the camera lingers on your face. It's silence. And one thing that I've noticed whenever your films come out, whenever your series come out, is that I see a lot of people posting screenshots about you, about those silences and those stares, saying that Shefali's silences are so powerful. I think that is your strong zone, that death stare that you give sometimes. Do you think that is your... No, I'm just asking, do you know that you get a lot of appreciation for that? And do you believe you have a strong zone? Okay.
I do get a lot of appreciation, and I feel overwhelmed with it. I genuinely believe, as an actor, we have the advantage of a camera that catches the smallest of nuance. So if you can say something in 4 words, if you can say something in 2 words, don't use 4. And if you can say something without any words, don't even use 2. And some of the moments, in fact, that moment, even like, that whole understanding the team has amongst themselves, where a lot doesn't even need to be said. It's just understood. So, I mean, that is, I think, I'm glad if I can communicate without being verbose.
Okay. How do you prepare for these emotionally heavy scenes? Like, I know that you just said that you like to deep dive into the script, but for these heavy scenes, do you have a different process? Do you take more time to get hold of the emotion? Do you have a different process for these harder scenes?
No, I mean, you go onto a set and you have to be completely into her. That's it. And then by the time you've read her so many times, you've read the script, you've studied it. See, I study a lot, okay? But then when the camera goes on, all that is left behind, and I don't know what I do. I'm lucky that my gut and my instinct has supported me. I just completely go with gut and instinct. And I like to believe I become that guy. So it's not like, oh, today I have a tough scene, so I'm going to study more. Or if I have a today, I just have to be in the background, so I won't study. It doesn't work like that.
Okay.
And I love doing what I do. And you have to be present all the time, 100%. Even when there is somebody else's shot going on. You have to be present all the time.
Okay. So finally, after Delhi Crime, will we get to see Shefali Shah smile more in her upcoming films? I'm glad you're doing Darlings, where you're having some fun, but
yes.
Will we see you in roles that will have you smile more?
Well, I'm hoping.
Okay. Because there seems to be a natural inclination towards these darker roles.
No, it's not actually. It's not, Like, I'm so glad I got offered Darlings and I could do it.
Yeah.
There is, because of the work I've done, there is a certain impression that people have of me. You know, they're like, oh, she must be very serious. And a lot of people have told me this, that before we met you, we were very intimidated. But once they get to know me, they realize, oh no, okay, she's, you know, she's extremely normal and she's whatever. But I think maybe because of that, but like, for example, I've done this other film called Three of Us, and it's going to do the festival circuit right now. And it's a love story. And it is so beautiful. And it's, I mean, how do I explain? I don't know. I'm hoping somebody gives me smiling. What else do I say?
Lovely. Thank you very much for your time. I'm looking forward to watch the rest of the show. All the best for everything that you have on your plate. It was a pleasure talking to you. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Ram. Bye.
Bye.